expecting you, Mr. Boyd.
Bandeliga hola boo. I'll tell you who's fantastic. Those Japanese. I wish we were more like them. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Japan, ancient Japan, modern Japan, the Japanese as a nation, as a species. Aren't they fantastic? They're the world's best workers. That one goes without saying. That argument has been won. Nobody, no matter how fertile their imagination, how blurred their vision, would possibly contest the argument that the Japanese are the world's number one workers. They're that good, they're probably the world's number 1, 2, and 3 workers. They have genius, they have diligence, they have endurance. They've got really sort of dexterous little fingers. That's why 20, 30 years ago they stole the march on the rest of the world with the electronics industry, because they were able to solder down by hand all those little transistor plates. Free call 0500 10 53 89. They work hard in the factories of Japan. They operate an egalitarian hierarchy in the factories of Japan. You know what that means? See what that means? The boss is no higher than what in this country would be the lowest worker. Isn't that fantastic? When you consider that they are streets ahead of us in virtually every industrial and economic area of activity, and they do it like that. Bosses don't have separate offices in Japan, anywhere. They sit shoulder to shoulder with the people who do the real work. Free call 0500 10 53 89. They're the best workers and they're the best bosses. They're the greatest warriors who have ever walked the face of planet Earth, because the sumo wrestlers could and would hold their own in any combat sport, in any form of hand-to-hand fighting without weapons. The sumo wrestler is king, and in years gone by, and the philosophy still exists in parts of Japan, the samurai warrior was the greatest warrior who ever walked the face of Earth, with his long and short sword. The warrior Miyamoto Musashi, who flourished in the 16th century, was not only the greatest samurai warrior who ever lived, claiming 400 kills. He was so successful with his sword play that in the end he turned his back on the sword and used bamboo sticks. And for 20 years lived in a world where there were no police, there were no rules, where hand-to-hand combat to the death was absolutely the norm. He lived to fight. He fought with sticks and died unbeaten. But died not only the greatest warrior of all time, Miyamoto Musashi, but also the greatest poet and the greatest painter of the Japanese age. Think on that. The Japanese, they are fantastic. Free call 0500 10 53 89. They serve the best food in the world. That's why they are the fittest, longest living people in the world, even though they know how to smoke and they know how to drink their whiskey and their sake. They know how to have a good time. Look at them at the karaoke machine. But their food is fantastic. It is fat-free. They don't use dairy products. When they come to this country, they find that we smell a little, but they don't point it out. We smell of dairy products. We smell of slightly off milk. We smell of slightly rancid butter. They don't. Their diet is almost perfect. That's why I had sushi last night, and it's sushi again tonight. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Aren't they great, the Japanese? Isn't Japan a wonderful country? I've got to get there one day. Maybe it'll be in 4 years' time when they hold the World Cup there. They're the best users of space in the world. We're going to have to take a tip from them, whether we like it or not, because the world is starting to become a very crowded place. And who knows how to fit lots of people into a small space better than the Japanese? Nobody. Look at Tokyo. It's just about the largest population in any conurbation on Earth, fitted into more or less the smallest space. You know, if you want a cheap hotel in Tokyo, you don't get a room. For £8, they give you a tube. It's about 8 feet long and about 2 feet in diameter, and you just slide into it. It's got a little sort of mattress, and you get a sheet, and that's it. And they close the door, zoom, on you. And they're happy to do that, and so should we be happy to do that. Best of all, the Japanese, as a nation, they don't hold a grudge. They are the most fantastic people on Earth. Free call 0500 10 53 89. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening. A great country. Stephen calls from London. You're on Talk Radio. Hello, Stephen.
Hello, Tommy.
How are you?
Fine, thank you. Yeah, just agreeing with you, actually. I work for a Japanese company.
Marvellous.
And I have my director sitting in the same office with me. And they actually give a lot of perks if you work very hard. You know, they expect you to work hard and play hard.
Yeah.
When it comes to work, they are very, very serious about their jobs and achieving their targets. And when it comes to play, we all go out on family days and things like that. And you have, you know, you play with your director, you're in the same team and things like that. You know, play like gladiators. I mean, it's fabulous actually working for them. I think it's the best. It's the best.
What does your company do?
They produce, if I say, I mean, it's just one company that does it in the UK. So if I say what they do, you know what company it is. And I don't really want to...
That isn't a problem. It hardly amounts to advertising. It's important that we know what kind of field of activity.
Actually, it contradicts what you said to our next time, because they produce dairy milk.
Oh, do they? Oh. Do they?
Well, it's a health product.
Oh, wait a minute. That's not dairy milk.
Well, it's not dairy milk.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's a yogurt-based product.
Well, you can say so.
Sort of.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic.
It is lovely.
Not cheap. It's not cheap, mind you.
It is cheap, considering.
Oh, all right. Well, fair enough. It is cheap, then. Thanks for your call, Stephen.
Thank you.
Don't work too hard.
Yeah, well.
No, you work for a Japanese company. You will. Because they do work hard. That's why they beat us. All ends up when it comes to economic activity. Surprising, really, because of all the countries on Earth, I think we have more similarities with Great Britain, with Japan, than any other single country or culture. And, of course, that's largely due to virtually identical geography. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Russell calls from Edinburgh. You're on Talk Radio. Russell, good afternoon.
Hi, Tommy.
Russell.
I'm phoning about a couple that were living in Japan. They had taken a vow of celibacy when they got married, and they were married for 14 years. 14 years without making love, and on the night they decided to make love, they both had heart attacks.
Is that right?
Two Japanese, a Japanese couple, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I expect you read that in the paper.
Some time ago, I think it was,
Yes.
Yeah.
But it constitutes the most important thing you know about Japan and the Japanese.
I think it was rather foolish. No, I mean, if you're going to get married, you're going to get married to make love and do things like that. But, I mean, strange, eh?
No, not strange at all. Different, Russell. You're strange if you think different is strange.
Well, strange maybe, but, I mean, if I was going to get married to a Japanese girl, she'd be my dream heaven. I'd want to make love to her, you know?
You would, yes.
Yeah,
of course.
definitely.
Of course you would. Thank you very much indeed for your call. They are very handsome, very beautiful people as well. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Here's Andy in Cambridgeshire. You're on Talk Radio, Andy.
Tommy, I've come to agree with you about the Japanese people.
How fantastic.
They are so efficient. They've whittled it down to just 2 haircuts as well, Tommy.
Yes.
Long and straight,
Yes.
short and sticks up everywhere.
This isn't true.
It is.
You don't know what you're talking about.
That's their natural 2 styles of hair.
I'm sorry, I go to a Japanese hairdresser. I'm on home ground here.
You go to a Japanese hairdresser?
I go to a Japanese hairdresser, yes. Is there an echo in here?
I think there is.
Yes.
So how come you've got curly hair if you go to a Japanese hairdresser?
What are you talking about? You don't choose the type of hair you can't... What? We'd like to think about that question again. It can't be answered. How come you go to a Japanese hairdresser if you've got curly hair?
Well, you're only going to get one of 2 styles, aren't you? If you wander down the street and see all the Japanese people wandering around, they either grow their hair long and it's straight.
This is racist ignorance, Andy.
No, it's not.
It is. I've got a good mind to come round there with my samurai sword and give you a poke. Unbelievable business. You're the sort of person who, when you put the phone down, you'll go and tell your friends that you came on the radio and made fun of the Japanese, but you'll exaggerate.
No, I'm not making fun of them, Tommy.
Yes, you are.
No,
How dare you?
They've got rid of self-consciousness. You can't be out of fashion in Japan. You either have one of 2 styles.
That simply isn't true.
You can't have a bad hair day in Japan.
Their hair is better quality than ours. That's because they don't eat any dairy products.
Black and shiny.
Yes. You're just jealous, aren't you? Go away. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Something slightly sort of wobbly with his phone there. I understand there are freak atmospheric conditions prevailing in part of Europe at the moment, and it might be affecting some people's receivers and mobile phones. Free call 0500 10 53 89. We're celebrating the Japanese, possibly the greatest nation on Earth. If only we were more like them. Here's Luke calling from Wakefield. You're on Talk Radio, Luke.
Hello, Tommy.
Hello, Luke.
The reason I'm calling is, well, as far as I understand, Japan is or was a predominantly Buddhist country.
Wow.
And
being Buddhists, I would have thought that they renounce materialism and, live on a waterfall somewhere and pray to Buddha. But what's with all this profit that they are, these big conglomerates after the millions and that? I just don't see how the two can relate to each other. I mean, maybe it's Christianity what's coming in, messed it all up and turned into capitalism. I mean, I'd just like to know your view on that, Tommy, really.
Well, I don't have to have one because they're not Buddhist.
Well, as far as I mean, I'd be the first to admit that I'm not a Japanese expert, but as far as I know, their religion, their state religion is Buddhism, isn't it?
No.
Well, what is it then?
Shinto.
Well, what's the difference then? As far as I know, Shinto is an offspring of Buddhism.
No.
Well, what is it then? Tell me.
Well, it's Shinto. What do you mean, what is it then? Tell me. It's Shinto.
Well, what's the difference between Buddhism and Shinto?
It's another religion.
Well, what is Shinto then? Who do they worship?
Well, it's not Buddhism, so therefore your argument does not exist.
So Shintoism and capitalism are actually relate to each other then?
Well, sufficiently, yes. I don't think anybody around the world consults their Bible, whatever it is, before they realise that they've got to make ends meet in life.
Well, no, but there's a difference between worshipping Buddha, for instance.
Yes,
and,
but they don't. Are you still here?
Hello?
I said they don't worship Buddha. Nobody worships
I'm wrong
Buddha
Tommy.
anyway.
You've proved me a point, and now I know that they worship Shinto and not Buddha.
Yes. There are quite a few Confucians in Japan. And I think there are also some Taoists. And there are
Taoists?
Yes, there are some Buddhists as well. But I think you might have the impression that it's a country where everybody marches along following Buddhism, and you thought, aha, I've got them now. Those little gentlemen in Japan,
yeah,
I've got them.
You thought
you'd got them, didn't you?
Well, I thought I had. But
you thought you had them on a stick.
What about, Tommy, these, have you ever seen that endurance programme where they get tied up by the nipples and all sorts of
you couldn't do that, could you?
Come on, they are nutters.
No, they're not nutters. You couldn't do that.
Oh, exactly.
You couldn't
do that. No, so they've got to be a nutter.
They're better. Oh, right, so anybody who's better than you is a nutter.
Well,
Anybody
anyone
who's
who
got more
can be
courage.
jungled by the nipples or walk on or lay on burning sand for 3 days or swim with eels down the trousers or whatever, they've got to be a bit strange. I mean, that must relate back to their warrior culture,
No, so you're somebody else. Some culture's slightly different, so they're strange.
Well, alien, Tommy.
Alien.
They're alien to me. I mean, I couldn't go through what those people go through on that endurance programme.
That's right, that's because they are tougher than us.
They what?
Tougher than us.
Tougher? Well, yeah, you'd be probably right. I think we're a bit living in this cushy life. But I'd say that modern Japanese people, you do get the odd one who'll go on that endurance program. But I think most of them, they live in cushy plush apartments like people down south do. So.
What are you saying for a second here? Are you entertaining the notion that they might be not terribly different from us?
Yeah, I'd say that a lot of Japanese, modern Japanese, are no different to us. But I'd say perhaps the older generation or the ones that adhere to traditional values are quite different to us.
Yes, that's an important point. Thank you, Luke, for your call. Free call 0500 10 53 89. We're celebrating Japan and those Japanese. Aren't they fantastic? Anne calls from Cardiff. You're on Talk Radio, Anne.
Hello, Tommy.
Hello.
I've been to Japan several times. I adore it. It's like another planet. It's very alien to our way of life, but it is such a wonderful place to be every moment.
It is. Thank you for that.
My daughter is here by me. My daughter went to Japan as a teacher for a year, and
Really?
the jet scheme. Have you heard of the jet scheme, where graduates go there and?
No.
She was an assistant English teacher in like a high school.
Oh, put her on.
If she will. Liz, will you talk to Tommy? Her name is Liz.
Lou.
Hello?
Ohio gozaimasu.
Oh, now you're testing my memory.
What, can't you speak Japanese?
I can't remember. I can remember bits. But...
Oh, all right, then fair enough. We'll do it in English.
Okay.
Damn shame. What's the point of learning Japanese if you can't show off occasionally? Never mind. How long were you out there for?
A year. August 91 to August 92.
I bet you had a great time.
Oh, yeah, it was fabulous.
Yeah.
Really fabulous. And we were well paid on the jet scheme, so we all just used it to travel around the whole of Japan.
I bet
we went everywhere.
You came back fit and very well educated too.
Well, yeah, pretty good.
Where are you now? Because It sounds like you're in a swimming pool.
Similar. I'm in Asda in Cardiff Bay, and there's a quick ad for them.
Yeah, why not? All right, thanks for your call.
Okay, then.
Nice to talk to you.
Okay.
Free call 0500 10 53 89. We're celebrating our brothers on the other side of the world, those Japanese. Aren't they fantastic? If only we were a bit more like them. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening.
100 10 53 89.
Bum, 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 bum. Here's Michael calling from Hereford. You're on Talk Radio, Michael.
Hello, Tommy.
Those Japanese, aren't they fantastic?
Well, if they were that fantastic, how come they've got the highest suicide rate in the world?
Ah, you see, another caller who knows very little about Japanese faith.
There's faith, is that?
Faith.
Oh, why?
The Shinto religion.
What, demands that you commit suicide?
You must get out more.
It's got nothing to do with the fact that they set their standards so high that they just can't achieve them and therefore feel that they are not up to their superiors and they just have to commit harikari.
No.
No, it's nothing to do with that then.
People don't commit harakiri anymore.
Oh, whatever.
No, not whatever. Harikari is very different from harakiri.
I stand corrected.
Harakiri is a very honourable way to go.
Yeah, but an awful lot of them do it.
Well, an awful lot of them is my kind of statistic. Or have you got anything else up your sleeve there?
No, I just happen to know that they have the highest suicide rate in the world.
And which prejudicial tabloid did you pick that bit of information up from?
I actually read quite a few factually based books.
Oh, yes, and which one gave you this?
Well, one of several. I mean, there's a very good
One
author.
of several. One of several doesn't work in court.
No, but...
I want your information, I want your facts.
The author specialises in the Orient. He's a man called Eric Lusbarder.
We don't call it the Orient anymore.
No, but he specialises in the Orient, especially Japan.
Oh, right, yes.
And he happens to be very good.
He happens to be very good, again.
And he probably knows a little bit more about it than you and I.
No, he doesn't.
Oh, well, you can argue with him then.
Well, put him on.
Well, he's not here.
Well, what a stupid thing to suggest then. Now, you listen to me. In the Shinto religion, it is believed that man visits this earth 7 times before he goes to nirvana.
Yeah, okay.
And it is very important for us all to have a good relationship with our impending death, which is something that we should not fear, but in many ways should welcome. For the sooner it comes, the sooner we will achieve nirvana.
So why don't they kill themselves a lot earlier then?
Oh, well, because they have a very sophisticated cultural approach to the subject which you have raised, which is suicide. And no Japanese is permitted to commit suicide for selfish reasons.
But they still do it because of failure.
No, I'll say it again. No Japanese person is permitted, culturally, to commit suicide for selfish reasons.
So failure's not a selfish reason, then? It's a cop-out.
Yeah, okay. You're learning stuff here, but you're not going to take it on board. Japanese people have a strong sense of dignity, do you?
I think so, yeah.
I don't think you do, really.
Well, I'm not going to argue with you.
You see, no, because if you lost an argument in Japan, you would experience shame. And shame is sufficient reason to commit harakiri.
And so underachievement isn't then?
Well, you're underachieving in this conversation. Are you feeling shame?
No.
Well,
no,
you see, that's why you're not as good as the Japanese, because they wouldn't expose themselves to this kind of ridicule that you have.
Well, I don't feel as though I'm being ridiculed, because you're just averting the subject.
No, I'm not averting the subject at all. You asked me a question. How come they have the highest suicide rate in the world? And I answered it rather comprehensively.
Well, but because they don't achieve...
Now,
it's all right for them to kill themselves.
Unfortunately, Michael, there's no way, if you know anything at all about the Japanese culture, that you can twist their suicide rate. A contentious statistic, well, you haven't actually given us a statistic, really. A contentious allegation, if I may say so, but there's no way you can twist it round so that it denigrates the Japanese. It only holds them in higher esteem, so thank you for raising it.
Well, okay, fine.
Yeah, how about that way? They're good at gymnastics too.
Well, every time I've listened to you, I've always found out it was pointless arguing with you anyway. But go.
Nice to talk to you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Let's have a quick word with Jean in Devon. You're on Talk Radio. Jean, good afternoon.
Hello, Tommy.
Jean?
The Shinto religion sounds to me like a little dance, a sort of tap dance.
Does it?
Yeah, heel-toe sort of thing.
Well, heel-toe
Shinto?
No, heel-toe is more Iroquois.
Is it a sort of suicide dance?
No. It's a religion still. Still a religion.
So how do they top themselves in this dance?
They don't dance and they don't top themselves.
Don't top themselves. Well,
no.
Listen, the tea ceremony, Tommy. I think that they have a tea ceremony and we have a tea ceremony.
Yes.
Yeah. lost him again.
She's away there now, but she made her contribution to the nation's knowledge, and it was something or other. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Craig calls from Warwickshire. You're on Talk Radio, Craig. Afternoon.
Tommy,
Craig.
Your timing's absolutely appalling, mate. I mean, you come on here sort of saying how great Japan is when the economy is on the verge of meltdown. It just seems the timing could be better.
Well, I still think we'd swap, wouldn't we?
I don't think so.
Oh, yes, we would. In any case, the Hang Seng's back up, isn't it?
Yeah, but,
Yes.
well, it goes up and down like anything, like ours.
Well, it's been going up and up for the last 30 years.
Well, yes, but it's a bit of a house of cards, though, isn't it, Tommy? I mean, when's the last time you saw a high street...
You hope.
No, not at all.
You hope.
No, not at all. I think they're all going to come crashing down anyway.
Listen, Sunshine, when we start building factories in Japan...
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Well...
Yeah. Yourself.
Yes, but it's very
your head's on a pole.
short term, though, isn't it?
Well, it's been going on since the war. It's not going to last. How long's it got to last before it lasts? It's been the Japanese economic miracle has been performed annually every year since 1945.
Well, you could say exactly the same about Germany, but Germany now is not the Germany of 5 years ago.
Not talking about Germany, different program. Call later.
Yes.
Talking about Japan.
Yes, I know, but
Good.
I'm saying yes. Well, quite right, but at the same, but the thing is that it's not going to continue for much longer.
You hope.
No, I know.
You don't.
I strongly suspect.
You hope. Get in touch with yourself.
I don't hope at all.
Yes, you do. Get in touch with yourself.
I hope it carries on for good. But
you people, you always pretend that your hopes are your beliefs.
Not at all.
Yes, you do.
Not at all. No.
You do. The Japanese are here to stay.
No, they're not.
Well,
because they don't.
Talk to G7. Talk to G7.
Pardon?
Talk to G7.
Well, what do they know?
The Japanese will not just be in the chair, it will be G1 in 20 years' time.
I don't think so.
Oh, watch that space.
No, because the reason is that I believe that the Japanese people don't have the ingenuity to continue it. Basically, what they've been doing for the last 40 years is taking other people's ideas and improving them.
Oh, don't come out with that racist Benny Hill line.
No, not at all.
Of course it is.
Why is that racist?
Why is that racist? Well, first of all, because you're denigrating an entire race on the basis of their race.
I respect them for it because they've seized upon an opportunity that nobody else has seen.
No, it's no good saying I'm not a racist. After all, I can tell that they're very good runners. No, I'm sorry. What you just said was racist.
They're good runners.
What you just said was racist.
They've seized upon opportunities and good luck to them that other people have turned down.
That's right.
But the thing is, they haven't actually
invented anything. They haven't actually invented anything. What about the camera?
The camera?
Yeah. They invented the camera.
Did they invent the camera?
Yes, they did.
Well, in that case, I bow to you on that particular example.
And is that all it takes then? So you're not racist about the Japanese any longer because they invented the Instamatic?
Oh, they invented the Instamatic. You'd said they invented the camera.
Well, it's a camera.
It's a camera, yeah.
It's a good camera, actually.
It's a good camera. It's an excellent camera.
Excellent.
But
who else makes cameras besides? Who else makes cameras, cars, computers, except the Japanese? Who makes those little Walkman-y things? Okay.
Well, who
else?
invented them?
The Japanese invented the little Walkman-y thing.
Well, quite possibly.
Not quite possibly. The chairman of the company that made them invented it because he wanted to listen to some music on a plane. Well-known fact.
Well,
well-known
excellent,
fact.
and a jolly good Japanese too, I'm sure. But the fact is that the Japanese economy is on the verge of meltdown. There's something you cannot deny. British banks, German banks, French do not tend to go to the wall. When's the last time you saw a high street British bank go to the wall? They're falling over like ninepins. There's been two in the last few weeks.
Oh, yeah, that's right. TCCB, that didn't happen, did it?
Was that a British bank? I don't think so.
And of course, we never had a depression over here, did we? We didn't have a recession over here, did we?
The recession over here was what? I mean, in the last 10 years, the last one. That was nothing compared to what's going to happen in Japan.
What's going to happen in Japan? You hope. You see, it hasn't happened yet. Call me when it happens, Craig.
Okay.
I guess I won't be speaking to you again then. So have a nice life.
In that case, I'll speak to you in about 6 months' time then, Tom.
I'll buy you a pint if you do.
You're on, mate.
I bet you don't. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Margaret calls from Cheshire. You're on Talk Radio, Margaret.
Tommy,
Afternoon. Hello.
The Hang
saying is Hong Kong.
Yes, I know that.
Nikkei's Japan. You don't know what you're talking about.
I was just testing him. I'm glad you came on. I was just testing him.
I'm about to have a Japanese son-in-law. I've got 2 daughters who live in Japan.
Marvellous.
You've got it all wrong.
What have I got wrong, darling?
Well, they practice Shinto for the rites of passage, but Buddhism is the religion that they practice in between. I mean, the country is full of Buddhist temples, and they also are about 16% Christian.
Yeah, don't come in here with any of this, they do this and they do that. A Japanese person can worship as he chooses.
Yes, he can. I'm telling you what the normal practice is, what the society tends to do. Society as a whole, made up of individuals.
No normal. Take the word normal out of it.
Very well.
There are as many Buddhists in Japan as there are in this country.
And other individuals.
The guy who called in total ignorance was trying to kebab the Japanese for having some kind of altruistic religion and yet practicing economic warfare and materialism. And that doesn't work, does it? Because you know your Japan.
I do know Japan quite well, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's a beautiful country, and the tourist visits the shrines, and the shrines are absolutely wonderful. But when you visit people in their homes, you get an entirely different vision of the country. You know, the living conditions are not really as you would expect them to be according to their economy.
Not as nice as Cheshire.
No. They tend to be rather crowded. You know, that they don't have gardens, open fields. They have very little land around their houses.
No little border for the pansies?
No, very
How
little.
heathen.
Very, very, very minute amount of land around the house.
Poor people.
Yeah.
We should send them some earth.
Well, I hope my grandchildren won't be brought up there. I mean, I'd prefer them to be brought up here where they've got room to run and play.
Absolutely. And not so many Japanese in Cheshire as well. It's the other thing. You don't want them growing up sort of Japanese-ish, do you?
Oh, I don't mind that at all.
Is that right?
I love the Japanese people. They're very kind, considerate. They really are lovely people.
Your call sings with your love of the Japanese in Japan.
I'm sorry?
I said your call sings with your love of the Japanese.
Well, yes, I have been there several times, and as I say, I'm about to have a Japanese son-in-law.
What's his name?
And Aki.
Aki, can he speak any English?
Oh, he speaks perfect English.
Can you speak any Japanese?
No, I have been lazy about learning it.
Yeah, exactly. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Sayonara, Margaret. Lynn calls from Merseyside. You're on Talk Radio. Lynn, good afternoon.
Hello, Tommy.
Hello, Lynn.
You seem to be wrapped up in other countries and other people, and I don't like the way you talk to a lot of your callers. And if you think that Japan, I've nothing against the Japanese.
Oh.
I think they're great. But if you think it's so wonderful and you put Britain down, why don't you go there? Stay there. I wouldn't miss you. Goodbye.
Are you going? There you are. You see, what a plonker of a woman. Isn't it hopeless, really? Feeble-minded, feeble of mind and feeble of spirit. Spineless too. Mind you, I don't mind. If you just want to ring up, say something rude and slam the phone down, for therapeutic reasons, because you recognise that you haven't got an argument, or that one of your cherished prejudices is being chipped away with love and logic, free call 0500 10 53 89. I am easily up to it. Why? Because I am a trained samurai. James calls from Cambridge. James, you're on Talk Radio. Ohio gozaimasu.
Yeah, hiya. Yes, I want to talk about Japan. Yeah, I think the reason why their economy is so successful is because, one, they've got good leaders, they've got good management, they treat the workers like they should be treated, with dignity and respect, and the workers look up to that. And also, you don't get the workers moaning about tea breaks and paychecks all the time.
No.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, in this country, all the workers seem to talk about, all the places I've worked in, it's like, oh, when's the tea break? When we're going to get a pay rise? It's not what can we do, what more can we do for the economy, and what more can we do for people. It's always what they can do for themselves.
Ask not what your company can do for you, but what you can do for your company.
But that's what it's all about at the end of the day, isn't it?
And that's how we work at Talk Radio, and that's why we too are flourishing. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Andrew calls from Exeter. Andrew, you're on Talk Radio. Ohio gozaimasu.
I need clarification from you.
Certainly.
On May the 20th this year, you made a statement, and the statement was quite blatant, that you hated horses, said they were useless, and they were absolutely terrible and a waste of space, and they all should be shot. Do you remember? Hello?
Well, okay then, yes, I don't remember, but yes, okay.
Well,
fine,
as it happens, Japan hold horses not only in high regard and in high esteem, but also very, very good in for workhorses. Now, can you clarify that? Because you love the Japanese, and in May the 20th, you said anybody who loves horses are a waste of space, waste of time, and, you know, I don't understand it.
Well, I'm not going to found my views on an entire nation.
No, you don't need to, but you did on May the 20th.
If I don't mind,
horses were useless.
Do I get to finish a sentence or what?
Oh, carry on.
There's no interrupting on this show.
No, all right, I won't, I promise.
You can only interrupt somebody if they get boring.
Oh, all right, then.
I shouldn't have said that.
Carry on. Hurry up.
Well, I will.
Hurry up, then.
Yeah, I mean, you need to found your views on a nation on more than their approach to one aspect of animal welfare.
No, I'm talking about your clarification of what you said. Because you said anybody who loved horses,
yes,
right, was absolutely useless, didn't know what they're talking about, because horses were a waste of time and needed shooting.
I'm with you. You're trying to show that there might be one or two Japanese people that I might not see entirely eye to eye with.
No. The Japanese actually hold horses in high regard and high esteem.
Well, I don't think they do, mate.
Oh, I know they do.
How do you know they do?
Because it's written in all the history books.
Which one?
Well, read any history book.
No, name one.
It's Encyclopedia of Japan. How about that one?
Well, who wrote that?
Somebody in Japan, I suppose.
You're making stuff up.
No.
No.
You have to clarify your own statement.
Okay, well, from my understanding of Japanese ancient history, you will find that there was a time during Japanese history when the horse was held in considerable esteem.
Which it still is.
Say again?
Which it still is.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, what do you know about the samurai warrior?
What do I know about a samurai warrior?
Yes.
Apart from holding a sword, not a lot, really.
Well, you see, they didn't used to hold swords.
Well, whatever, that's what I said, I don't know a lot.
No, you don't, do you?
Not about samurai warriors. I'm not talking about samurai warriors.
Well, they were the main users of horses in 15th and 16th century Japan. Nobody else could afford one.
Well, in which case you obviously do know what you're talking about.
I certainly
do. In which case it definitely needs clarification.
Then here it comes.
Go on, then.
All right. The use of the horse by the samurai died out during the 1700s with the introduction of the long fighting sword and the pike. The long fighting sword and the short sword being the preferred weapon of the samurai, who then became a foot soldier as a result of their adoption of this new fighting technique. Previously, the samurai had fought using longbows, which they fired from their horses' bare back, with astonishing accuracy, it had to be said, largely because they emptied their mind and simply imagined the arrow going where they wanted it to go. This is a technique which is often called Zen, but is often misunderstood by people in the West. But as their preference for fighting with swords increased, so their use of the horse declined. And the only area of Japanese culture which at the moment embraces the horse wholeheartedly is, of course, horse racing and the Japan Cup, which is the second richest prize in the world of horse racing.
Well, that's one item anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, you did make that statement on May the 20th.
Yes.
I know it was May the 20th because it was my birthday. And I talked to you.
Right.
And we had a big argument about horses because I said they were very, very extremely useful and nice and served a lot of purposes.
Right. Happy birthday. Free call 0500 10 53 89 belatedly. We're celebrating Japan and the Japanese. They are fantastic, you know. If we were more like them, if you were Japanese, the world's your lobster. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument for listening.
This is Talk Radio, the conversation of the nation.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Valerie calls from Kent to join us in our celebration of the Japanese. You're on Talk Radio, Valerie. Hello.
Hello, Tommy. Just a quick point. Whilst the Japanese are apologising, do you think there's a chance in the near future that they might apologise for the cyber pets, the computer pets?
Thank you for your point, which you made well and briefly. Keith calls from Liverpool. You're on Talk Radio. Keith, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tommy. Yes, I think we could learn a great deal from the Japanese. I don't know a great deal about them, but from what I've dipped into their culture, we could learn a hell of a lot. Namely, we could learn how to live, and we could learn how to face death with courage and dignity.
Yes.
You know, they're a culture to me that survived for centuries. It's adapted to change, and, you know, will adapt to change and will come out on top, I think. You know, those people who've been on seem to me to be a very jealous bunch. Not one of them ever read a haiku. You know, I mean...
There. Have you got a haiku?
I've got a copy of Basho in front of me.
Oh, give me a haiku, any haiku.
Dying Cricket, how full of life, his song.
Ah.
This excellent, I've got a little book of Zen here, and on the back it's got another Basho saying, Do not seek to follow in the footsteps of the wise. Seek what they sought.
Such wisdom.
Very profound people.
How about this one? Clouds. A moment's rest from moon watching.
Excellent. You know, it touches those. You know, they've over the years they can teach us how to live life in the moment instead of all the angst that we're with. That they live. You know, and we can learn a great deal from them. Who could not admire the samurai warrior, the way of the warrior? His whole life.
Yes.
It's not just learning how to fight. It's himself. He is
Absolutely.
He's the swordsman. He comes one with the sword, one with the arrow. I think it's a fantastic culture.
Keith, I really enjoyed listening to you. Such wisdom. Rob calls from Hampshire. You're on Talk Radio, Rob.
Konnichiwa, Tommy.
Konnichiwa.
Yes, konnichiwa to you.
Konbanwa.
If the Japanese are so wonderful,
yes,
how come they haven't got very many basketball players then? Because they're all fairly short, aren't they?
Yeah, well, they've got more than we have.
I don't know about us.
I'm
but
afraid
I certainly
so.
know,
I'm
I
sorry.
certainly know they haven't got many.
No, they haven't got many.
Why not? Because they're all too short.
This is a bit racist. This is racist. You can't say that.
I'm allowed to say.
No, you're not. I could report you. No, I could report you to the CRE for that.
Oh, please do. I'd love to have a word with them.
But you get fined.
That's all right. I'm fine as I am, thank you.
They're not short, and they haven't got funny haircuts.
They've certainly got strange haircuts, but they're too short to play basketball.
You and the Duke of Edinburgh will get on like a house on fire.
Oh no, he's pompous old man. I'm afraid. Sorry.
Can't say that either. Colin calls from Cardiff. You're on Talk Radio. Colin, good afternoon.
Hello, Tommy.
Colin.
All right.
Hi.
Spoke to you last week on your views. I think I inspired your Welshman programme.
Yeah.
What's this about trained samurai?
Yes, I'm a trained samurai.
Yeah, trained in origami, Tommy. Come on.
No, I'm a trained samurai, Colin.
Yeah. All right, look, I think we're all going off the point there.
No, we're not.
We can't forgive them for the Second World War, right? And right, I've had stories back from my uncle, okay? He fought in Burma against them. He was in General Slim's 13th Forgotten Army, okay? They were fighting 6 months after the war in Europe ended. And he told me that the atrocities that went on, you just can't forgive a country that's capable of doing that.
Well, everybody did horrible things in the war, Colin.
Yeah, but
if I may finish, the difference is, all right, the winners find that their actions were justified. The losers discover that their actions were not.
Well, you've got Pearl Harbor. That was like, there was no warning. They just bombed them.
Yeah, look, can you stick to stuff that's original, or
yeah,
that we don't know?
Right, fair enough,
I can't be bothered with.
My uncle was in Burma.
With Kant.
Right? He told me that when they were based near this village, the Japanese.
No, I'm not interested in hearing playground stories about horrible things. Okay.
Well, like the sentence coming from.
Do you have any idea of some of the things that the British did in your name in India?
Yeah, but that's beside. You're going off the track now. We're on about Japan. And what a great nation they are, which has come the words from your mouth.
They are, and you know nothing about what happened during the war. It's an insult to those who died on the Burma Railway that you take up the cudgel against the Japanese.
I wish somebody...
Ostensibly on their behalf.
Somebody
but the truth of the matter
you
is,
up,
you
veteran,
can't take it.
Preferably somebody
you can't
that was
take
close
the idea
to them
that the
and
Japanese
have their argument with you, because I tell you what, they don't want to pick up the phone.
all over the shop.
They don't want to pick up the phone and speak to you because it's going to open old wounds for them.
Let's talk to Dee, who calls from Dorset. You're on Talk Radio. Dee. I'm sorry about Colin.
Oh, no, don't. I don't want you to apologise for him, really. You speak of the samurai warriors with great affection and romanticism. Would you allow the people who suffered only 50 years ago their opinion of the Japanese? I'm not talking about the rights and wrongs of war. I'm talking about people's individual experience of a country, and they have their right to their memories and their ideas of a country.
Yeah, but are you saying, Dee, for one moment that those views have not yet been expressed?
They have been expressed, but you today are denying them their opinion.
No,
that's
absolute garbage,
No,
Dee.
it is not garbage.
It is. Now listen to me very carefully.
No,
I have not.
You're trying. You called one woman stupid. You've called people names.
May I say it is grotesque of you to say that I am denying wartime atrocities. Grotesque.
No, Tommy.
Grotesque, because I am not doing that
Listen,
at all.
your opinion. opinion. You won't allow anyone their opinion of a country, even though these people have first-hand knowledge of a country.
Yes, everybody's been saying it's wonderful.
Tell me then, Tommy, what happened to all this wonderful, wonderful psychology? What happened? What happened that they were able to deny the basic rights to another human being? Tell me, Tommy.
I don't understand the question.
What happened?
I don't understand what I'm being asked. Forgive me.
Well, you should do. In that
well, you haven't put it very well. That's
history,
the problem.
I'm not going back to the wonderful samurai. I'm going back only just over 50 years. Can you tell me what happened that this sort of thing was allowed?
What?
Well, if you have to be reminded, your romanticism is clouding your vision, Tommy.
I only asked you what happened.
You know what happened. They lost.
What?
They gave no one the right. They treated people worse than animals. It wasn't just a few. It was a psychology, a philosophy. This is how you treat people. Okay. Tell me what was so wonderful about that, Tommy.
Well,
don't tell me about how wonderful it is.
Okay, you asked me to tell you about something, so I will.
Tell me why that was wonderful. Stick to my side of the argument, please.
Well, I will, but only on one condition.
Yeah?
That you're prepared to consider something that you haven't considered before.
I've considered it in all angles, Tommy. Believe you me.
That's not what I asked you, and we're not having much of a conversation because...
We are. You've asked me to be prepared to consider something that I'm not, up until now, I have not considered.
Yes.
I assure you I have.
Well, you don't know what it is.
Well, tell me what you're going to say then.
No, because you've already said that your mind is closed and you're not going to accept anything
Tommy,
new.
I've tried to look at it from all angles. I've looked at it from the code of honor.
Do you see my point? Do you see my point?
Yeah.
It's difficult.
Tommy, all right then. I say that perhaps I'm wrong, so will you enlighten me?
No, it isn't a question of being right or wrong.
No. Well, my ideas, my philosophy...
I'm not sure if you can, because I think that you have got...
No, Tommy, because you don't want to say.
No.
Then tell me.
No, it's because I don't think you want to consider something. No, I don't think you do.
I want to be able to see the best in people, Tommy.
I think you have an entrenched view.
No, Tommy, I want to be able to see the best. Please enlighten me.
Okay, I will. When I was at school, when I was a boy, the stories that were told amongst ourselves about Japanese wartime atrocities gave me sleepless nights. I had nightmares. I had an uncle on the Burma Railway. We never found out what happened to him, but he didn't come back. You could buy bubblegum cards when I was a boy, which showed Japanese wartime atrocities. It's difficult to believe. People think, that videos nowadays are terrible and what have you, but that was what it was like when I was a boy. So I grew up with the starkest possible images of what happened during 1944 and 1945 to British prisoners of war, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And those ideas stayed with me through films like The Bridge on the River Kwai, although they were tempered slightly by what was an intelligent analysis of two entirely different cultures meeting. The question of who was right and who was wrong, it seemed to me when I watched that film, depended entirely, quite simply, on where you were born.
Well, can I come back, Tommy?
No, because I haven't finished.
Oh, okay.
Because you're asking me why I've ended up at this thinking the way I think.
I just thought you were sort of closing your statement.
No, but I tell you what, Dee, I can tell that you're not particularly interested
Tommy,
in my journey.
I grew up with that as well.
Fine, but I can tell that, Dee, that with the best will in the world, you're not interested in anybody else's journey. Fine. Because if you want to know how I've ended up thinking what I think, then, I just need another couple of seconds.
Yes, okay.
Okay. Watching The Bridge on the River Kwai, I realised that my understanding from the playground of what went on during the war may not have been complete.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that the judgments that I made as a 10-year-old, okay, were based on which side I would have been on if it had happened.
I see.
Okay. Okay.
Can I come in, or have you... Or are you still, I don't know.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what you want to come in with, because I haven't even finished yet.
Well, okay then, Tommy.
Yeah.
All I can say regarding memories, your memories will never match those who actually experienced it. And what I'd ask you now, Tommy, with all your knowledge now, can you tell me what you think of slave labour? Simply that. What do you think of slave labour?
Well, I think it has its Points?
You have it. I see.
I think it has its points, I think, really.
Do you reckon?
I think, well, from an economic point of view, I think it's obviously a lot more dynamic than...
that is dreadful. Okay, but you cannot call a country that indulges in this slave labour, brutal slave labour. Don't tell me that.
They're horrible, those foreigners. They're horrible people. They're short and they've got funny haircuts and they're horrible. They're horrible. They're not like us at all. We're fantastic. We are. No, come on. Alan calls from Cambridgeshire. You're on Talk Radio.
Hi,
Hello.
Tommy. What a load of crap you're talking today. Absolute rubbish. The only good thing that comes from that was Shogun.
Stay where you are, Alan. 340 10 53 89. Tommy Boyd, Talk Radio.
Don't forget to subscribe and like. Comment too if you wish. Even slap your legs and make a purchase from Ann Summers. But don't do nothing.